Okay, so I'm walking out here at night, so that's why it's dark on the screen. But what the Minnesota Vikings just did, now keep in mind, this is just on paper. You know, these players, all this, it still has to play out. They got to go out there and perform. But what the Minnesota Vikings just did here on Thursday night was absolutely beautiful. Now, the ultimate goal going in to the first round of this draft was to select a quarterback, whether that be Drake May or J.J. McCarthy. And the question was, going into this draft, how are the Vikings going to be able to move up to get one of these guys? Because it's been speculated the whole draft process that they're not going to make it out the top six, probably picks, and Drake May, but number 3, the Patriots weren't going to move. And so that left J.J. McCarthy as the option there for the Minnesota Vikings. And I'll be honest with you, I was nervous. The Cardinals and the Chargers decided to stay put. And when the Giants got on the clock, I was really nervous. But they ended up going up Malik Neighbors. Then, of course, the Titans selected another guy. Falcons, that was another one where I was nervous about, as they were reporting that they were going to go quarterback. They ended up taking Michael Penix Jr. Now, that's a big question mark there, considering who they just signed, Kirk Cousins, to that contract. So that was surprising as well. But after Chicago sent that pick in at number 9, I knew the Vikings were safe. And one of those guys fell in that dream scenario, and they moved up one spot. And ultimately, they selected J.J. McCarthy with the 10th overall pick, meaning that for the first time in Minnesota Vikings history, the Vikings have selected a quarterback in the top 10 of a draft. And I'm a big J.J. McCarthy, Drake May fan. Those were kind of my two guys for the Vikings heading into this draft process. And they were able to get him at 10 without having to move that second first-round pick or any other future first-round picks. And that's a good thing. I'll explain a bit. But, the draft keeps going, right? And they end up trading up to number 17 again, where they got Dallas Turner. I didn't think Dallas Turner would fall to 17. I thought he was going to Atlanta at number 8. So they were able to get one of Kevin O'Connell's guys, and probably, it may have been Brian Flores, his top guy also, and probably the best defensive player on the board in Dallas Turner. So that's an absolutely just A-plus move by Kwesi Adolfo-Mensa. His first draft, 2022, we were like, what's he kind of doing there, going all the way back? They got Jordan Addison last year, which ended up being a good pick. But today, they really got two good players. I'm a fan of both of them. Really like J.J. McCarthy. There's a lot of people that, they look at his volume of work and are like, they don't see it. But, I think it's there. And you also get Dallas Turner. But, looking in the long run, people are looking at next year's draft, where I believe the Vikings have 3 to 4 picks or something like that. But I'm not really sweating that much, because going into next year, the Vikings, they were still able to retain that 2025 first-round pick, which is crucial that they were able to retain that and keep that. And also, they're going to be top 5 in terms of cap space next year as well. So that's also a big thing. You can fill out your roster by going and spending big on free agents, which they really haven't been able to do. But again, looking at tonight, that's just A-plus moves that J.J. McCarthy slid to them at number 10. And hopefully, it all works out and they have their franchise quarterback. Kevin O'Connell has this guy. And you got Dallas Turner up there on the defensive in front. They lost Daniil Hunter, and went out there and got Bernard Van Ginkel. And then you get Dallas Turner. So they kind of reinvented that pass rush. I still, kind of worry about that interior defensive line. But, dang, you got that defensive end position kind of set. But just an overall good night, and Skol Vikes.